Okay, so now you're ready to start writing all of your CSS. I'm going to show you how I set up every single one of my CSS style sheets just to keep everything organized. So like I've mentioned before, CSS stands for Cascading Style Sheet, which means the browser reads your style sheet from the top down. So we write our general styles at the top and we get more specific as we go down our style sheet. So I'm going to write a rule for every single element on the page, and I do that by writing the asterisks. So the first rule I'm going to write is the border box rule, the box sizing border box rule. Next, I'm going to reset the padding to 0 and the margin to 0. This just takes away some of those default browser styles. The next thing I want to do is add a border to every single element on my page just so I can see where everything starts and finishes. I'll remove this border later after I've finished styling everything, but just so that it makes it easier for me to work, I like to add a border to my elements. Okay, next I'm going to write all of my general styles. And I always write a little note just to keep everything in order. So general styles are things like styles for my body. I'm probably going to include things like font families, line height, font size, 1.5, font size, things that are going to apply to everything on the page. And then I'll probably write another rule for all of my headings, likely because they'll be a different font than my body font. Okay, I might write a rule for all of my links that I want to look a certain way, all of my buttons, maybe I want them to look another way. The next thing I'm going to do is write my styles for my header section. These include styles for the header themselves, as well as things like the navigation and the links inside of my navigation. And then I'm going to write the rules for my next section, which happens to be my About section. So that is called section with an ID of about, so we call it by saying #about. Okay, whatever I'm styling inside of that section, so maybe I'm styling the H2 inside of the About section to look different from all the other H2s. That's how I would call that. Then next, we have our skills section. And so on. So I just make a different comment for each section and just keep all of those styles together. And then finally at the bottom, we have our footer. So footer styles. Oops. And I keep all my footer styles there. And then once we get to responsive design, those will go at the very bottom under all of my other styles. And that is how I keep my CSS organized. So if I am writing something in my footer, like my form, for example, and then I remember that I have to go and change an H2 in my skills section, then I'd go back up to this comment where it says skills section and I would change that H2 here. It just keeps everything organized, it keeps things easy to find, and as your web pages get bigger and bigger and bigger, so does your style sheet. And it just makes changing things and finding things that much simpler when everything is organized.